We recently went to the offices of Shurat HaDin in Jerusalem to learn how to effectively combat terrorism.
Shurat HaDin is a civil rights organization based in Israel that have been utilizing the court system to go on the offense against Israel enemies. In the year of 2000, when the blood was spilled on the streets, and we, as lawyers, decided that we must take a role in the war against terrorism. We understood very quickly that money is the oxygen for the terror organizations, and if we can stop the flow of the money, we can stop the flow of the terrorism. So we did what lawyers do best, go up the pocketbooks of the terror organizations. We started filing lawsuits against PLO, Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestine Authority, Iran, Syria, North Korea. And after a couple of years, we won decisions and judgments in our favor. Shurat HaDin so far helped to achieve judgments for more than $2 billion, and we are actually collected more than $200 million that went to the terror victims. In the course of our cases against banks, for instance, we deter the banks to flow money to terror organizations. No bank agreed anymore to open bank account to a designated terror organizations, or no bank agreed to open bank accounts to Islamic charity without making sure that its money is terror-free, and no bank agreed to operate in terror zones like South Lebanon, like Gaza. When there is no banking system in Gaza, that Hamas has to smuggle money in suitcases through the tunnels, and that reduced tremendously the amount of money they can smuggle into the strip, and that caused them a great deal of harm, because their budget is $500 million, and they cannot bring it through tunnels. They need a bank, and now today they have difficulties finding a bank that will agree to wire them money.
Shurat HaDin doesn't just deal with terrorist groups. It also advocates against the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement known as BDS.
Well, financially the BDS is not such a threat, because in the end of the day, they are boycotting some products of some companies in Israel. The effect is not so significant. Even when they try to divest from Israel, they hardly do it, and when they do it from very, very small companies. So there is not such tremendous effect for the boycott itself. However, the call to boycott, the comparison of Israel as an apartheid state, the delegitimization that they are doing to the Israeli government, to Israel or to the Jewish state, these are the harm, because the BDS movement is active everywhere, especially in the campuses in the university. And this is the age where students develop their personality, their ideologically thoughts, their policy. And if they keep hearing again and again and again that Israel is a human rights violator, and Israel's military, the IDF, is killing babies, and Israel does not have a right to exist, these students eventually becomes the leaders of the future. And that's the problem to the Jewish state. And this is the threat with the BDS movement. And this has to be fought.
Jamal Sowell is a former Marine who volunteers with Shurat HaDin.
I think that BDS is anti-Semitic because of the fact that it singles out Israel. It would be different if they had a BDS movement in Iran, a BDS movement in Syria, in other countries. But because it's singling out Israel, that's my issue. It singles out a country and a people versus being fair across the board, but is anti-Semitic in the sense of it's focusing on a certain people in a certain country. So though they may not be saying it, the detrimental impact is then anti-Semitic and anti-Israel.
So what's wrong? So should we boycott all businesses that are owned by Jewish people?
Yeah, we're trying to boycott all things as well.
Well, in North America, there are laws against acts which are discriminating acts based on racism, nationality, gender. The BDS or the Boycott Act is actually an act of discrimination because you are boycotting products or you're boycotting professors just because they come from Israel. This is a forbidden act according to the local law, and you can bring a lawsuit against those who boycott Israel, Israeli products, Israeli academics. Against those who are calling to boycott, it's a bit of a different story because they are protected by freedom of speech. They can say anything they want, they can call to boycott. And therefore, in this instance, we do more advocacy, more explaining why the BDS, why what they are advocating to is totally wrong, is totally against the Jewish state. It's not even looking for a solution of two-state solution, which they believe it does. It's called for one-state solution to a Palestinian state with the elimination of the Jewish state.
For TheRebel.media, I'm Igal Hecht.